Welcome to Bonita Studio, a powerful tool for modeling and automating business processes. If you're new to Bonita or business process modeling in general, don't worry, we'll walk through everything step by step. So, before we jump in, let's understand what Bonita Studio is. Bonita Studio is part of the Bonita BPM suite, designed to help you create, test, and deploy business process applications. It utilizes BPMN, or Business Process Model and Notation standards, allowing you to visually design workflows that can be executed and monitored. Whether you're automating a simple approval process or a complex workflow involving multiple departments, Bonita Studio provides the tools to model and implement these processes efficiently. So, let's start by creating a new project. I already have one, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to actually create a new project. So, at the top left, there's this file button, and simply tap on New Project. Now it's going to ask for a name. This is the name of your project, and then project ID. This is a unique identifier for your project. Version is the version number of this certain project. Your group ID is typically used for grouping related projects. So if you have two similar projects or maybe under the same themes, you could group it into one group. Target runtime version. This is basically where you can select the Bonita runtime version that you're targeting. And for description, of course, it's a brief description of your project. Now I'm just going to add a simple name like hello. And as you can see, this is our project ID. You can change it if you want to, but I'll just leave it at hello. So tap on create and it's going to create the new project. As you can see, it's already loading. So let's just wait for it to finish loading. So once you're done loading and once you actually create a new project, you will notice several elements under this element section. So there is a process diagram. A diagram is the representation in the Bonita Studio of a group of processes, BPM and tools. So this is where you'll design your workflow using BPM and elements. Business data model. The business data model is the definition of the business data that is shared by processes and process-based applications in a tenant. This basically defines the data structures your process will use. Application descriptor. An application descriptor is a collection of pages and processes that meets a business need. This configures application related settings. Page and form. Use the UI designer to create and update pages for business applications or edit forms created during the process creation phase. Process initiation and human tasks execution. Design user interfaces for tasks within your process using page and form. And finally, organization. An organization is a collection of users, usually defined in a hierarchical structure that is aligned with the structure of the business entity that the user belongs to. Basically, here you can manage your project structures and components. To start modeling your process, let's go with process diagram. So, click on it, and since there are no diagrams yet, you'll see an option to create one. As you can see, this project doesn't contain any process diagram yet. Create a new process diagram. So now it's going to load one, and here we are. So, this opens a blank canvas with a default pool and lane. So, you should rename this, and how do you do that? Well, click on the diagram name, and then you should rename this so that you know which ones are which. So just simply right click on it and tap on rename over here or control R. So I'm going to name it diagram 1. You can name it however you want to, however you like to basically organize your stuff. I'm just gonna name it diagram 1. So now here we are. Let's understand what this palette is for over here. So this is on the left side of your diagram, and basically these are the different BPM and elements. Swim lanes represent different participants or roles in the process. Gateways control the flow of the process based on conditions. Flow connect elements to define the process sequence. Tasks activities performed by users or systems. Activities general term for tasks and subprocesses. Start events this indicates where the process begins. Intermediate events or int events represent events that occur between the start and end of the process. End events this signifies the completion of the process. And text annotation you can add notes to your diagram for clarity. So let's start by making a simple process. I'm gonna drag a start event over here. There we go. This is our first start event, or actually our second because there's already a extra over here or an already set event. Now let's drag a task to it. So there we go. This is our task. Now what you're gonna want to do is, of course, you're gonna want to add an exclusive gateway after it. So let's find it over here. And there you go. And I'm just going to align it with this line over here so that it's perfect. And then you can actually connect these things like so, so you know which ones are going where. Next, let's move an approval path. I'm gonna add a task called notify approval. Next, just basically put in whatever you want. You can go on ahead and just read through these. It's pretty much up to you because it's your own flow, and I can't really make one for you because I don't understand the specifics of what your diagram wants to be. This simple process allows a request to be submitted, reviewed, and either approved or rejected, with appropriate notifications sent in each case. So, let's configure the task details. For each task, you can assign actors, set the task type, and add forms. To configure these, just simply select on the task and click on the task in the diagram. There we go. And open the properties panel. That's right here. And then you can make necessary configurations where you can assign actors, set task types, and link forms as needed. Once your process is modeled, you can save the project by clicking on this save icon and then deploy it by tapping on this deploy button. Bonita Studio will build and deploy your process to test the environment. Once you've done that, simply tap on run. Basically, this will open the Bonita user application in your browser. Start a new case and follow the process flow that you've designed. So first, let's go through what these buttons are. We have the UI designer. Basically, this is a tool in a separate window. What it does is it lets you build customer user interfaces for your process tasks. You can design forms, dashboards, or pages users will interact during process execution. Supports drag and drop elements like input fields, drop-downs, and tables. Next, we have the applications. This is to define and manage the applications that group multiple processes together. What it does is it lets you structure processes into applications. You can set navigation, home pages, and user roles for apps, and it's useful for packaging a complete workflow solution. For configure, this basically opens the configuration settings for Bonita Studio. Allows you to set preferences related to process validation, build settings, runtime environment, and more. This is useful if you need to fine-tune project behavior, runtime versions, or performance settings. Now we already tackled run, so let's move on to preferences. This basically lets you manage things like workspace paths, language settings, and UI themes, or plugin management. This also opens general preferences for Bonita Studio. And help, of course, this is for whenever you need help from a higher place. It provides access to documentation, support, and community resources. So that is a wrap on our Bonita Studio tutorial. Today, we explored what Bonita Studio is and its purpose. We created a new project and designed a simple approval process, and we learned about the BPM and elements and how to use them in Bonita Studio. And of course, we deployed and ran our processes in the test environment. Bonita Studio is a robust tool for modeling and automating business processes. As you become more familiar with it, you'll be able to design more complex workflows, integrate data models, and create dynamic user interfaces. If you want a deeper demonstration and if you want to tackle onto this yourself, you can actually go on ahead and go to their website and then get their very own free trial. All you have to do is just sign up and you'll be able to download it. So that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments down below if the tutorial works or if you have any questions. Thank you and goodbye.